We just gonna jump right in. This is Jehovah Chronicles number 108. Does immigration affect you? Right? And the effects of immigration. Right? We just gonna jump straight in and show you what's going on today in the neighborhoods right around you, and are you aware? And then I would just like to add, while we watching this video, because this is gonna be like a Cosmon react. You know what I mean? We're gonna check out what's going on and see does it affect you, and how you either what get out the way or we change it. You dig what I'm talking about? So we're gonna go on in without too much further ado and look at what's really going on in our country. And I want you to think about this. Once crime rates start jumping, more drugs and harmful crimes are being committed in the neighborhoods, huh? Who gonna get this blame? Who they gonna blame for this rise in crime and crime activity? Huh? I would also like for you to think about, while we watching this, why are they not putting any of these migrants? There's so many white people up here caping and Negroes caping for these people. Why aren't they fighting to put them in white suburban neighborhoods? They want to put them dead in the hood, in the ghettos. And why don't y'all put them out there in the burbs with y'all, where there's more space? Why don't y'all use your own county money, your own money, right? And build these people some shelters, if that's what you caping for, right? But we seeing Americans getting tired of this shit. So without further ado, let's get straight into some of this. Hold on, let me back out. Let's get straight into some of this real quick. Let's see what's going on. This is right now. This is going on right now. Check this out. Impeachment. Did you know that they was about to impeach the immigration czar? Check this out. Watch.
Against DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas in an overnight vote that got heated. It was strictly along party lines.
Secretary Mayorkas' actions have forced our hand. We cannot allow this border crisis to continue. We cannot allow fentanyl to flood across our border, our criminals to walk unheard. We cannot allow a cabinet secretary with no regard for the separation of powers or the rule of law to remain in office.
And any shortcomings that Mayorkas may have, frankly, are your fault. He's asking for authorities to do more, to have more border agents, to have more resources. And so his limitations are caused by you.
It was a marathon session, 13 hours long. Eventually, Mayorkas called the allegations baseless in a letter to the committee. The next step is an impeachment vote on the House floor.
And as that battle unfolds in Washington, look at this insane video.
Watch
A
this,
group
y'all.
of migrants in New York City are arrested after attacking NYPD officers in Times Square. 5 were arrested and 4 are already released without bail.
Huh? 4 of them got released. 5 of them attacked the cops. 4 of them got released without bail. Do you know what would have happened if any 4, 5 of us got together and jumped on some cops? Are you listening? You came all the way from another country to attack American citizens, to attack the police? Boy, you brave. My thing is, had this been 5 black men stomping on some cops, why didn't the cops shoot? He'd have definitely shot if it was us. Is there something we don't know? Let's get back to it.
All right, the brawl started when two officers were trying to break up a rowdy crowd near a migrant shelter on 42nd Street. While arresting one of the men, the other said, hey, I'm not going to just sit there. I'll jump in. I'll start kicking. I'll stop punching the officers. After all, I don't belong in this country anyway. I could beat up an NYPD officer. What'll actually happen? The Manhattan DA's office saying it's investigated the incident as police search for 5 other men involved. Every part of this incident could have been avoided if you didn't allow 67,000 people to call New York home who don't belong here. And what happened is, instead of being grateful, they're creating chaos. They get free food, free laundry.
Right.
They could do whatever they want, free shelter. And when they start fighting each other and NYPD comes to enforce the law, they beat up the cops.
Right.
Forget you try to rep.
Look, dog kicked the cop in the head. Look, look at dude. He kicking the cop in the head, man. Kicked him in the head twice. Check this out.
They're creating chaos. They get free food, free laundry.
Right.
They could do whatever they want, free shelter. And when they start fighting each other and NYPD comes to enforce the law, who don't belong here. And what happened is, instead of being great, I could beat up an NYPD officer. What will actually happen? The Manhattan DA's office saying it's investigated the incident as police search for 5 other men involved. Every part of this incident could have been avoided if you didn't allow 67,000 people to call New York home who don't belong here. And what happened is, instead of being grateful, they're creating chaos. They get free food, free laundry.
Right.
They could do whatever they want, free shelter. And when they start fighting each other and NYPD comes to enforce the law, they beat up the cops.
Right.
Forget
This is
you
going
trying to
on
wrap
in
your
your
head around that.
neighborhood
Listen,
right now.
The actual number, according to the New York Post, and they had this story exclusively, 172,000 migrants have come to New York City since, in the last year and a half. 172,000, 67,000 are currently in shelters. Obviously, if these guys were over by the migrant shelter, you can connect the dots. They were probably living there. Here's the thing. One of the, and by the way, they did bust in all 5 people, 2 19-year-olds, a 21-year-old, and a 24-year-old, and of course, all single males. And weren't we told a while back the people being led across the border were all in family units? Anyway, one of those migrants apparently has 2 open cases for assault and robbery. He's already been arrested twice. In November, he punched and pushed and bit a Nordstrom Rack employee who said, hey, you can't steal that $130 item from the store, pal. Well, he didn't like that. He bit the person. And then in December, he punched with a closed fist a loss prevention officer down at the big Macy's on 34th Street, who's...
Ask yourself, could you get away with that?
And he was trying to pull off another robbery with 2 other people. So how hard is it to get deported in this country if you're breaking the law and beating up cops?
That's the
I want to show you something secret that they don't even never tell people. Let me show y'all something what they don't show you. They know where these people be many times. They know who the criminal is. You want me to tell you how they know? Watch this. Watch this. All right. This is about the GPS trackers on migrants. Did y'all ever hear that they put them GPS trackers on some of them migrants? Did you know that? They be knowing who the crooks is, who to put stuff on, who not to put it on. They already know. Look, ICE, right? Which is the Homeland Security, people who take you out of the country if you're an illegal immigrant. ICE, a component of the Department of Homeland Security, has maintained a contract since 2004, 20 years, y'all, with BI, a subsidiary of the private prison company group, GEO Group, to provide GPS ankle monitors and to run an intensive supervision appearance program. A program to monitor certain immigrants. Why do they put ankle monitors on immigrants? The policy is meant to steer a middle ground between detaining parents and their children in jail. This is what they said. They wasn't doing it before they got caught. Right? which has been limited by court rulings or releasing them in the U.S. to wait years for their turn in immigration court. And while they're here, they're doing this to the police and getting away with it.
And this story in this video that you're seeing right here, it's the cross section of so many things we talk about every single day with all the issues in cities and countries. Yeah. It's the illegal immigrant crisis. It's also the bail policies that are, and like has two. He is now a repeat offender, and you just have to think about the melody of this group of 5 people who, by the way, are claiming asylum. This it's behavior of people who are not afraid to get deported. If you were, and you know that you came here illegally and you're on thin ice, you're going to hide. You're going to be quiet, mind your P's and Q's. And these people are attacking police officers. Thankfully, they're okay.
And what you said is a cross section of everything. Yeah, it's a cross section of let's open up the border. Let's not do the remain in Mexico. Let's not pressure other countries to keep their people there. Let's not make sure the cartels don't decide to give up drugs in order to get back into human trafficking.
And let's be real. You dig what I'm talking about? A lot of people sit here and say, "Oh, these are just white fear. They're just scared." No, they are bringing all the dope in here. And I'm telling you, whether you believe it or not, many of those people who are crossing the borders are terrorist cells, undercover UN groups. You got to remember, America's into it with everybody. With everybody. And they're flooding the borders on purpose. Listen, these are undercover terrorist cells. Amongst that, these are also UN troops. Even though WASP say anarchy, assassinations, you dig what I'm talking about? Overthrow of the government is just recompense for what it did. But this is that whole replacement theory that they was talking about. It's you that's gonna be replaced. So-called Aboriginal, so-called black man. It's you. Watch this. Let's keep going forward.
Trafficking.
We're gonna move forward a little bit.
Highest number per capita of migrants in that city you're standing in America.
Hey, good morning, family. A big interview with the mayor here, Mike Johnson, and to go to the people that are seeking asylum.
This is in Denver.
I asked the mayor,
We're gonna get to Denver
what
too.
are you gonna
Watch
do
this.
when a lot of these folks are on the street because you guys just don't have the resources? And he gave me the story of one of the migrants that came across the border illegally, that she was a police officer in Venezuela. And I said, Mr. Mayor, you got to realize that not all of them are going to have that background. Not all of them are going to be people that are law-abiding citizens. I mean, their first act was breaking the law. And I think it really came to the point of understanding a mayor that wants the best for his city, but also has this loyalty to the ideology of letting migrants across the border. I also talked to him about the breaking point of the city. This is what he had to say. Watch.
Every hotel room we have in the city of Denver is full. We're at 5,000 people in shelter, and we have more coming every day. And so we have to reactivate the policy we've always had, which is you can come and stay for a length of time, but it can't be forever.
At what point does your city reach its breaking point?
Yeah, I think our city is very close to its breaking point now, and we've been talking to leaders in D.C. around the country about why we needed to take action here. I think we have successfully welcomed almost 40,000 migrants in the last year, and we know what it takes to do this successfully. We just need the help, and the things we need are, yes, but the most important thing is we need, work authorization for folks when they arrive, and we need those resources at the border so you can add more security at the border, and so you can those asylum claims. So the folks that do arrive here can work. The challenge we have is you have someone that'll arrive in Denver who's been admitted on an asylum claim, but their court date for their asylum case is 6 years away. And then they're in Denver for 6 years without working with themselves.
You know, 'cause I give the mayor a lot of credit. Liberal city mayors every single day asking them, you know, to come on the program, to make their case to our audience. And not a lot of them do it. He chose to do that. Later on in the interview, I asked him, did he have a message for Greg Abbott now? Not sure now, because at first he was very critical. What he says, we're going to tell you, we're going to show you later on in the program. We also asked him, do you regret being a sanctuary city?
Right.
Would you change that? Would you do anything different? We asked him about that, and he's going to tell us about that later on in the program as well. But again, a lot of credit to the mayor for showing up, answering the questions.
Right. This is a complete circle. We defund the cops. We don't back them. Now we break the border and tell the cops to wrangle them up and create some type of semblance of order, and they're getting attacked. So now, and the people who opened up their arms now are losing their cities. Yeah. I hear in Denver, nobody wants to live there anymore. You can't get a hotel room. It's a fraction of what the city was before. So don't tell me you got a big heart. Think America first. Your goal is to make the people of Denver make their lives better, not welcome in the world and demand federal funding for it. By the way, the federal funding doesn't come from the president's pocket. It comes from federal tax dollars in a country that's $36 trillion over in debt. It's nuts.
Lawrence, we're looking forward to seeing more of your interview with the mayor. We're going to play it all 3 hours long right here on Fox and Friends.
Right. But Colorado's using resources to make sure Donald Trump's out on the ballot. Yeah. Well, that's the key. Keep Donald Trump off the ballot. That's your number one issue.
Yeah, well, yeah, but Mayor Johnson seems like a perfectly reasonable guy, where he's saying that the asylum claims lasting 6 years long is crazy. We have to fix that. We have to secure the border. He's also talking about work visas, which could be an incentive. But if you're the mayor of a city and you have to spend all these taxpayer dollars on illegal immigration, you can understand where he's coming from with that.
They're trying to do exactly the same thing in New York State, where they would let 4,000 migrants take state jobs, work for the state of New York. We're going to talk about that a little later on.
Can I say one thing? He might be reasonable, but he's not logical. Like, he might be a nice person, but he has to play this out. What he's doing is not working. These people can't get right.
In the end of the day, right? Let me show you that is going to be you who foot the bill for all this. Your tax dollars, your state taxes, federal taxes are going to supplement everything for these people, giving them new houses, new cars, new jobs, new clothes, free education, free health care, free schooling. Shit, I wish I could run to another country and get all that too. I might try. And they understand, man, I get it, right, that this is the greatest country in the world. I would want to be here too. I get it. You did what I'm talking about. Ways of making money in your country. You did what I'm talking about. It then slowed up because your economy is in the tank. Your politicians are crooked, and gangs and illegal juntas run your country. Like Trump said, it was a shithole. You dig what I'm saying? So let me show y'all that you're not only gonna pay for them to migrate here, you gonna pay for them to remigrate to another place in the Americas, and it's gonna be all on you. Watch this. Look. This is from today in Chicago. Taxpayers foot the bill for relocating migrants who want to leave Chicago. But you came here. Nobody brought you here. And you were willing to do it illegally. And now, like the brother said, we got to pay for that. Check this out, man. Watch this.
Asylum seekers coming to Chicago, mostly from Texas, at a sizable cost to government agencies and then going from Chicago to somewhere else. The ABC 7i team asked state officials for how many migrants are coming and going. Our investigation with the ABC 7 data team tonight revealing this double migration, the coming and going, is running up the tab for a crisis that already caught Illinois by surprise and continues to stretch government resources and finances. Migrants have been flown into Illinois from Texas, expelled by Texas Governor Greg Abbott, and they have been bussed here by the thousands from the border zone. People fleeing their home come points of debate.
Ask yourself, melanated man and woman, when the S start hitting the fan up here, where do you flee to? Where do you run? You can't go to Mexico. Canada don't want you. You ain't African, and you can't go over there and be an African in any of those countries without that bag. You got to have that bag first to even try to become so-called West African. You can't just go over there and like they come over here and get citizenship. You can't go over there and get citizenship. Try it. All those people you see over there complaining about what's going on in Africa or loving about what's going on in Africa, none of them are citizens of these places that they now bought homes. Did you know that? It's a trick.
And figures on government ledgers. Tonight, even as more asylum seekers arrive here, continue to leave. The team filed an open request to find out how many migrants are leaving Illinois. What that costs. People leaving by bus, plane, and train total more than $775,000. And when additional travel-related expenses, such as ride shares, are factored in, it's almost $850,000 taxpayer money for migrants to move out of Chicago. 4,327 have now come and gone, more than 10% of them sent to Chicago.
The Texas will put migrants on a plane, let them, tell them that Chicago is this great place to come, which it is. But they're saying, this is what Chicago is going to do for you. And then when they get here, they kind of see that what was told to them in Texas is not accurate. So,
on the northwest side, Alderman Gil Villegas' 36th Ward houses some Chicago migrants, and he wants federal authorities to take more responsibility for the relocation of migrants.
Position where they're in a place that really doesn't fit, or maybe they don't want to be here. So we are trying to accommodate them as well to make sure that they have they can go ahead and begin their life here in the United States of America. What we don't want to do is further traumatize these folks. We want to make sure that we allow them the ability and the dignity to have a roof over their head, a meal in their belly, until we can figure this out.
Catholic Charities has provided some of the logistical help in relocating migrants from Illinois. A spokesperson for Governor Pritzker tonight telling the I-Team that before leaving here, Illinois authorities make sure there's someone on the other end to receive the asylum seekers wherever they're going. And the most popular destinations for migrants leaving Illinois are New York, Florida, and Georgia, according to records at the Illinois Department of Human Services, and some actually asked to be relocated back to Texas.
Longer for a lot of these people are getting longer.
YouTube, in Chicago Eyewitness News.
What? I'm telling you, watch this. Watch this. Get it.
The border battle is intensifying tonight.
God shut down
border right now and fix it quickly.
This is not a common move.
Now some news at the U.S.-Mexico border. Migrant encounters reached an all-time high in the month of December at more than 302,000. That's roughly the population of the city of Pittsburgh.
A growing crisis at the border with the influx of migrants trying to get into the U.S. has now forced the closure.
As the president confronts a steep rise in violence throughout the Middle East, the administration is also facing a battle in Congress over the immigration crisis at the southern border.
Partisan group of negotiators says they've been hammering out this deal for months and are positive about the prospects of an agreement.
Now look at these snakes, right? Look at these snakes. Because Biden is losing in the polls and all that stuff, you dig what I'm talking about? And you know, they seeing that sway that the country is, you know, really focused on immigration, right? Because this affects us. This affects what jobs we can get, who can get them, why do we have homeless Americans when these immigrants are coming over here and getting free everything? We don't owe them anything. We owe our own first. Then we'll help everybody else. We're not against helping people, but we are against helping other people before we help our own. And y'all been trying to play the quote unquote black man to the back. Right? And now you want to bring this into focus and you want us to just ride with this. But many people are riding with this because they think they're black too. They think they African Americans too. They think they're migrants too. No, you are from here. You the only person in America that's actually from America. You didn't come from anywhere. Nobody brought you here on slave ships and boats. You're going to find out whether you believe it or not. And if you've been subbing to the channel, you already know that those are white people who came over here on boats. Huh? It was them that got sick and were quarantined on little small islands. Did you know that? But see, now that they got you believing that you an immigrant too, you got our own people trying to fight for this stuff. But people are waking up. Watch this.
Agreement as early as this week with the Biden administration. That's despite sharp criticism from former President Trump.
If that bill were the law today, I'd shut down the border right now and fix it quickly.
President Biden campaigning in South Carolina this weekend says he'll.
Now they're trying to use it as a talking point, right? So Biden can say before the vote that I got a deal on border immigration, but you know, tied right into this money on this immigration is Ukraine. You know that you can't pass this immigration unless you give money to Ukraine. Did you know that? This is why Trump and the Republicans are shooting this deal down. They're not gonna let the Democrat shields. You dig what I'm talking about? Mind you, let's get this understood. The Republicans ain't on your side neither. Their greed just aligns with our needs. Remember that. The Democrats ain't on your side, and neither are the Republicans. They're both just two wings of the same vulture, picking off the carcass of the American people.
Close up the U.S.-Mexico border if Congress approves the bipartisan proposal currently under negotiation in the Senate.
President Biden, meanwhile, vowing to shut down the border, provided that Congress passes a new bipartisan border security bill. Biden saying, quote, "If given that authority, I would use it the day I signed the bill into law."
Now, this letter to lawmakers
sign it in the law
actually came from a retired assistant.
Why don't you just be a boss? Huh? Why don't you just be a boss and executively push this through? If that's what you really want to do, if you really care about the border, if you really cared about the border, you would have left the protection plan in place that Trump already put together. It actually worked. You could have left Biden's end Barack's in. You could have went back to his with the old Deca and everything. At least it kept people in some sort of it can be, the function of getting people to become citizens. It worked. You didn't have this mass thrust of people to the border. They know why, because Biden opened the borders up. So yeah, you got crime rising, right? Yeah, fentanyl and drug and all that stuff is rising in the hood. And there are more Americans becoming homeless while more immigrants are getting homes. How is that possible?
FBI directors, saying the country possesses dramatically diminished national security at this time and advising the borders be secured and those who have come to the U.S. illegally should be caught and removed. Now, those record-breaking numbers, the mayors in big cities calling for help, the battle brewing.
Remember how they know they can get caught? They know where they at.
With Texas. This is all.
They give many of these people GPSs. Remember, they've been doing this 20 years.
All playing a massive part in how voters are leaning on the immigration issue.
When we have illegal immigration, it hurts legal immigration. But right now, we are talking about a case in which, over a very short period of time, we have 8 million individuals that have now entered our country. Simply is not fair to those individuals that are standing in line waiting to legally immigrate into the United States. And at the same time, it is not fair to the citizens of the United States to have representation for the apportionment of congressional districts be based on the number of individuals that are not here legally.
Here's the leaked text from Senate border security deal from sources familiar with Senate border security negotiations. Mandatory shutdown of border once average daily encounter hits 5,000. Border Patrol to immediately remove illegal immigrants without processing once the 5,000 threshold is hit. Mandatory detention of all single adults regardless of 5,000 threshold being reached or not. New removal authority to immediately remove all migrants who do not have valid asylum claim. Any migrant caught trying to cross twice during shutdown phase would be banned from entering U.S. for 1 year.
Folks, we're making real progress. One of the most important issues we're facing, security at the border. The first bill I introduced was for a massive change in security at our border.
He double talking.
2 months ago,
he double talking. How can you want to secure the borders and yet you want the people of the state to get off the border? How can you secure the border without fences, razor wire, stuff to keep people from coming in? You're double talking. You're lying. So what's going to happen when the Texas Guard and the police and all them down there in Texas and all that stuff come off the border? Are you saying federal agents are first of all, they're not there. Where are the federal agents? They're not there. So you're telling the people who are manning the border to just step away and let the feds come in and do it, but the feds aren't even already there. You haven't been there. As a matter of fact, if it was up to you, more people would already be in the country. Right? This is why it's a big deal. We are a massive country with no border security, the most powerful country in the world. We are the only one. You can't walk into any other country, nowhere. Try to walk into Canada, see what happened to you. America touches Canada. Try to walk across the border and see what happens.
Team beginning to work with a bipartisan group of senators to put together the toughest, smartest, fairest border security bill in history, the best one the nation's ever seen. It would finally provide the funding I requested early on and again in October to secure our borders. It includes an addition.
Let me tell you, they already got the funding. The funding is already there. You are just not running it right. Where are your federal troops? They're not even in Texas, not at the borders, and they're definitely not helping people keep people out.
1,300 border patrols. We need more agents on the border. 375 immigration judges to judge whether or not someone can come or not come and be fair about it. 1,600 asylum officers and over 100 cutting-edge inspection machines to help detect and stop fentanyl coming on our southwest border. It would also give me, as president, the emergency authority to shut down the border until it could get back under control.
He already got it. They lying. He can shut down the border anytime he wants with a phone call.
If that bill were the law today, I'd shut down the border right now and fix it quickly. A bipartisan bill would be good for America and help fix our broken immigration system and allow speedy access for those who deserve to be here. And Congress needs to get it done.
President Biden again urged Congress to pass the deal, which he said would include the toughest set of reforms ever in our country to secure the border.
A lot has been said that Donald Trump doesn't want a border deal because it's a...
Man, y'all hit that like button, man. Thumb up the video, share the live, man. You dig what I'm talking about? Let's get this thing moving this morning, man. Hit your boy with some vortexes in the chat. If you didn't, if you heard about this stuff, or maybe you didn't know about it, or know it was this deep, if you didn't know that they was about to impeach the immigration czar, hit your boy Cosmine with a vortex in the chat, man. Let's keep moving.
A great election issue, and he's more or less sent the word out to you and your colleagues. Don't give an inch on this. Is that true?
No, that is I would say that is a narrative that's being created by people who want to give cover to the administration. The former President Trump, what he's saying is the same thing that Mike Johnson and House Republicans are saying. Let's make sure that what we do secures the southern border.
But House Speaker Mike Johnson warns the deal brewing in the Senate is likely dead on arrival in his chamber. Some believe the Speaker and other House Republicans are blocking the deal to help Donald Trump win the presidential election. They're criticizing the move as political gamesmanship.
Former President Trump has been pressuring Republicans in Congress to reject a bipartisan border deal so that he can use it in the campaign against President Biden this fall. But Republicans have, for the first time in a long time, a lot of leverage to get Democrats to the table on this issue. And even they admit they're unlikely to get a better deal.
The urgency that many members are bringing to this conversation is clear. In the House, in the Senate, Democrats, and
in months.
This is the most leverage I've seen Republicans have in terms of getting legal changes to a broken immigration system in a very long time.
Opposition from former President Trump is threatening to
ask yourself, why would Democrats be highlighting that Republicans have leverage in this? Really, it's because they want to get the deal done, right? Because in the long term, it looks good for their guy. But long term, it is to get this deal done, and try to act like they're throwing this in the Republicans' lap. When the Republicans see if you're playing the game, they should sit back and say, nah. Y'all fix that. Y'all messed it up. Y'all fix it. Right? We got a guy who gonna fix it. I'm not gonna help you get it done till the end. You dig what I'm talking about? You messing over the people. All you got to do is do right. That's all you got to do. Huh? I would throw it. I would throw it in the right back onto the into the Democrats' lap. You messed this up. You clean this up.
Trip up the legislation within sight of the finish line.
I welcome the former president's input here because I don't like this deal.
This week, Trump issued a statement saying a border deal now would be another gift to the radical left Democrats.
He right.
And has been appealing directly to GOP members of Congress, asking them to scuttle the deal. In a letter to House Republicans Friday, Speaker Mike Johnson wrote if rumors about the contents of the draft proposal are true, it would have been dead on arrival in the House. The White House says House Republicans have a choice to make.
Whether they want to solve a problem, actually solve a problem, the Senate is trying to do its way, get in the way, score political points.
Communicate to Republican senators and Congress people that he doesn't want us to solve the border problem because he wants to blame Biden for it is really appalling.
The border battle is intensifying tonight. We know in Washington, House Republicans are officially launching an impeachment effort against Alejandro Mayorkas now. This is not a common move. Only once in American history has a cabinet secretary been impeached. The GOP lawmakers are blaming the Homeland Security Secretary for the massive border crisis, as CBP confirms a record 302,000 migrants crossing the border in December. Now, the articles of impeachment accusing Mayorkas of high crimes and misdemeanors and claiming impeachment is Congress's only viable option. Now, Democrats are calling it a politically motivated stunt, and the DHS has labeled this a farce. President Biden, meanwhile, vowing to shut down the border when it becomes overwhelmed, provided that Congress passes.
Yeah. Right? But look what Texas is doing. You dig what I'm talking about? And this is what they should do. This is what they should do.
To a border park.
Biden is not taking on Texas. Biden is taking on the United States of America.
The president is the one who has taken action to deal with this, while House Republicans do not.
If Joe Biden federalizes our National Guard, that would be the biggest political blunder. Half of America now is standing against the Biden administration. We are in imminent danger.
State of Texas is adding more razor wire and fencing to a border park in Eagle Pass. Crews are scrambling, though, to make changes as the Rio Grande is rising.
Truckloads of new fencing arriving in Shelby Park in Eagle Pass.
Here with more, Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Governor, first, I applaud your efforts. You've been on this show many times. You've tried convoys. You have done everything humanly possible. So your state, with its constitutional right, has put up the razor wire. They take you to court on that. And now they set up a confrontation between your National Guard and federal border troops. Now, I don't think either side of that equation wants to be enemies. They're all on the same side, aren't they?
They are, and as you pointed out, and as Border Patrol Council and Border Patrol members have made clear to Texas and to myself, they want to have nothing to do with regard to tearing down that razor wire or tearing down the barriers that Texas has erected for one simple reason, and that's because they are working. Border Patrol says that what Texas has done to secure the border actually makes their job even easier. The only resistance we're facing is coming from Joe Biden. Know this, Sean, and that is Joe Biden is in violation of federal law that already exists. For one, he is not living up to his duty to deny illegal entry across the border. Instead, he's aiding that illegal entry. The second thing is he's not, once people do cross the border, he is not detaining them as he's required by law. Instead, he's giving mass parole across the country. Because Joe Biden is not enforcing the federal immigration laws, that gives Texas the right under that Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution to defend ourselves from imminent harm or from an invasion. So Texas has every constitutional right in this case. And I believe when the sun sets on this, Texas will be vindicated and the Constitution will be strengthened.
Is no longer allowing migrants to freely cross into the park, where last month up to 4,000 a day were entering. Nearly every day, Texas is fortifying its razor wire barrier on the property while defying the Biden administration's demands to allow Border Patrol agents back in. Around sunrise today, migrants illegally crossed and climbed onto Texas's cargo container wall. Texas National Guard ordered them back to Mexico. The migrants did not comply, and Texas DPS arrested them for criminal trespass. At the edge of the park, the Rio Grande River is dramatically rising. Texas is pulling its massive cargo containers away from the water, which Texas DPS warns is potentially lethal for migrants to cross right now. Also on the southern border to the west in Jacumba, California, bees dropped off dozens of migrants. Source tells there were more than 1,300 Border Patrol apprehensions in the San Diego sector yesterday alone. 1,100 were single adults, with more than 160 from China and 120 from Vietnam. The San Diego sector has seen more than 100 Chinese nationals each day over the past week.
Joe Biden has been aiding and abetting in the law breaking. Joe Biden, I'd even go further. He is violating the laws of this country. He is violating his oath to uphold our Constitution. I could put up on the screen all, Title 8 USC 1324. It prohibits alien smuggling, domestic transportation. It goes into, every harboring illegal immigrants, encouraging or inducing, conspiracy, aiding and abetting.
Well, fair point, but also you're making another profound point. You listed all those different ways that the Biden administration has these duties and responsibilities. Because
So as the weather warms up over the next
go a little further, man. We just gonna keep showing how it's affecting, and then I want you to understand that it's Haitians who coming into this country, Africans, all different types of people who may look like you, right? They don't like your ass neither. They don't rock with you, right? When them black crimes go up, it be them. It don't even be us. All that weirdo stuff that you've been seeing a lot of these people come up and do, they blame it on us because they look black. A lot of them be migrants. And then the migrants don't even rock with us. You shout out to my Haitians, but they don't fuck with us. The Haitians don't rock with us at all, bro. They think they a whole different people. The Africans don't rock with us. None of them. Don't matter where they come from. They get over here to the country. Now, when they're in a country, it's all good. We love the Americans. We think they are us. No. What we're saying is you come here and become like the oppressor. You're a buffer, a tether, right? So, when it comes to this stuff, you dig what I'm talking about. Just keep yourself in mind. How am I being affected by this? You find out that they're putting our people out on the streets and moving migrants into the so-called projects and ghettos. Watch this. Look, I'm just telling you, many of these migrants look just like you too. Don't be fooled. Look. And see, they play on our kindness. You dig what I'm talking about? They play on our compassion. Look at this nigga. We can't even get what the niggas get. What are we getting? We are woefully underfunded in our neighborhoods, and then they're piling you guys on us. We didn't ask for you. You are imposing yourself in our country. You shouldn't feel no way about us saying what we saying when we paying your way. Now, the funny thing is, the next thing they'll say, we don't have no reparation money for you Negroes. Who's going to pay for it? We don't have no restitution for you Negroes. Where's the money going to come from? Where's this money coming from? There's always enough money when you want to kill something. Huh? It's always enough money when white folks get mad. It's always enough money when the dollar is the bottom linchpin. We can find the money then, but when it's time to do a good work to repay what you owe, right? It's we don't know where the money's coming from, Cashman. Who's gonna? There is no. Our country's it's at the bottom. We couldn't pay you guys, but I'll send billions to the people in Ukraine about people we don't give a damn about. They got to go through what they got to go through because they did what they did. What we do, except get genocided against in real life and on paper. You owe me. And until you get right, until you do right by the nigga, this country is going to hell in a handbasket. Wake up. How? How are you getting settled in school? How are you getting new houses? You have no skills. Where are you getting this money from? You broke. Huh? Who's paying for you to do all these things? It's you.
Yeah, Joe, the concern that these older people and some of these volunteers share is that if this plan is enforced, the eviction plan, hundreds of migrants will have nowhere to go, some of them ending up in the street or right back here at the landing zone in these city buses, only to have to wait to be placed into shelter once again.
For volunteers who work with asylum seekers in Chicago,
our concerns is that there's not really a plan, or if the city has a plan, they're not telling us.
Time is ticking.
By delaying informing everyone is causing crisis level concern and anxiety from people in the shelters. It's causing volunteers to scramble.
The question on their mind is what will happen on February 1st, the current deadline by which hundreds of migrants staying in city shelters will have to leave them. This is part of Mayor Brennan Johnson's policy to limit shelter stays, first announced in November and since extended twice due to weather concerns.
With all of their...
Hold on. Did y'all know? Did y'all know that the migrants are sleeping in the police station? In the lobby of the police station. And they're taking over schools. And sleeping right outside. And because only reason they outside is because all the hotels have been filled. Who pays for that? Huh? Those coming from state and federal dollars, that means it's coming out of your pocket. Huh? Watch this.
Stuff. Wong says around 1,900 people, including families, have received 60-day notices and could be evicted if it is enforced.
There isn't much of a plan in place for folks who don't have a place to live.
Now, 16 older people urging the city of Chicago to rescind the shelter stay limits in a letter sent Thursday to the mayor's office. Alderperson Andre Vasquez, chair of the Committee on Immigrant and Refugee Rights, leading that request.
I think the city feels like there's a very real pressure of having limited funds in their view, and not enough to sustain for even the whole year, which is leading to decisions about what to do as far as capacity for the new folks who are coming as well.
Vasquez says the evictions could mean people on the streets or back at the landing zone where new arrivals are waiting in city buses for shelter space to open up.
To uproot everyone from where they are to the landing zone, back to theoretically another shelter spot, seems like a waste of resources. We have not gotten rid of our stockpile of tents because we're concerned that we will go back to needing to house people on the sidewalk or outside unless something changes.
Now, at an event late tonight, Mayor Brandon Johnson was asked about these looming evictions, and while he did not directly address those concerns, he did have something to say on the matter. Take a listen.
How many more shelters am I going to be asked to open? I mean, 27 shelters. We have literally built an entire infrastructure for an international crisis that Congress hasn't figured out. I stand on the work that we've done in this city.
Now, we're told that some of the migrants who have received those 60-day notices, they've received housing vouchers. However, the volunteers tell us that's only a small fraction of the people. Reporting
You got a
live
housing
from the
voucher.
Landing Zone, Maribel Gonzalez, CBS 2 News.
You got 20,000, 30,000. You got a housing voucher. Do you know that comes with civil rights? Do you know you were supposed to get a housing voucher? Did you know that? We got to go back and relearn the law because they told us the law. They didn't teach us the law. This is why they tell you to not know it is no excuse, because they knew they lied from the get-go. You dig what I'm talking about? It's really your fault we don't know it, and yet you say it's ours because you didn't teach it right, and you know it. These people getting housing vouchers to buy the down payment on a house. That's $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Huh? They put them in their banks and draw interest off them. You get insurance, and then you can get a loan against the document because it's actually money. This is crazy. Yet you got black people who are homeless, who don't have jobs, who don't have cars. We don't even got a tent. You giving them tents away. I'm sure it's a whole bunch of homeless folks in Detroit who would love a tent right now.
Maribel, thank you.
That's all I'm saying, man.
Show your daughter
How you helping everybody else, yet you not helping your own.
how much you love her with this beautiful gift.
Watch this.
It says, "To my daughter, never forget that I love you forever. I hope that you believe."
Watch this.
Migrants here in Chicago need help.
Sometimes the best help comes from other migrants. Anthony Ponce has a unique.
Hold on. Remember, dude, we just seen in the mayor of Chicago, right? The whole thing on February
Migrants in the
1st.
city can unpack their bags, at least for now.
Yeah, this
Remember, they was kicking people out on February 1st in Chicago. Watch.
Chicago's mayor once again is postponing shelter evictions.
Our Casey Cronus is live downtown with the latest. Casey.
Don and Scott, the mayor says because of this weather, they simply can't push migrants into the streets with nowhere to go. Instead, they will take the next 60 days to point them toward permanent housing.
But we want to give every person and every single family that has come to our city enough time to process their work authorization, find housing, start a new life in our great city.
Hold on. But not the people you already got in your city. Not the Aboriginals who founded Chicago. Huh? Not the American city, not the Chicagoans themselves, though. Mind you, look where they at. They in the police office. This is downtown in the police station. Where they at? Look at that, y'all. See that? They in the police station.
Migrants across 28 shelters were anxiously anticipating their final days.
The emergency shelter system was built on the premise that shelter stays would be short term.
But now time has been added to the clock to help them plan their next move.
And that's really the goal, is to make sure that we're resettling families as fast as possible.
To expedite the placement of new arrivals and the resettlement of those already here, the state is now sharing space at the city's landing zone near Des Plaines and Polk, where they've established 6 heated tents.
We already are seeing some reassurance because they have staffed up in our shelters, whether it's through Catholic Charities or New Life.
Migrants who are
Now I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. Anybody want to come in, man? You dig what I'm saying? We see that we going through a crisis, right? And if the Democrats think for 1 second that the Republicans are not going to use this, you dig what I'm talking about, as a talking point, you dig what I'm saying, for the upcoming elections, you're a fool. You dig what I'm talking about? If you think they're going to let y'all report this as a win, now, and I want y'all to understand that I'm not up here caping for Republicans. They not on your side neither. Just so happens they understand that, and what black folks need to understand, what Negroes need to understand, is that sometimes the things of your enemy, you dig what I'm talking about, that your enemies worry about, affect you also. You see what I'm saying? Not that we caping for them. Not that, we want to be all next to them and we love what they doing and what's going on. No. Just so happen one people is trying to affect the system, and that effect on you, you dig what I'm talking about, is in your benefit. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out to everybody who came through, man. Black Rain, Judah Vaughn came through. You dig what I'm talking about? My sister Sharice came through. You dig what I'm talking about? Thank everybody. My big Imam Mahalia came through. Lawrence Burton came through. Yahoo came through, man. Thank y'all for showing love, man. Hit that like button. Legit hustle up in this thing. That's my mans in them. We got to get you on here, man, to go ahead and get your trust building lectures, bro. Got to get you up here, man. BC is in the house. Shout out my brother BC. You dig what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? Right. We can blame Joe, but who really pulling the strings? We understand that this is a puppet government. You dig what I'm talking about? The presidents are picked. You dig what I'm talking about? Anybody want to come through, man? This is just Jehovah Chronicles number 108, man. Does immigration affect you? We finding out that it does. You dig what I'm talking about? Those without true skills, these people are coming in, taking your jobs, kicking you out your houses. The whole white guy replacement theory. You dig what I'm talking about, that they were scared of and all that? Pay attention. They see it coming down the road. Now it's time for you to see it, because you going to be the very first ones affected. They smashing them in your neighborhoods. They're not in the suburbs. You dig what I'm talking about? And then watch the people who they supposedly got speaking for you, right? Many of them are immigrants too. You dig what I'm talking about? They don't speak for us either. You know what I mean? And a lot of people been talking about putting together their own political party, political movement, you know, a grassroots movement that really becomes a monster. And it's not a black or white thing. It's a have and a have not thing. We need to come with an America first political structure. Something that the good old boys can get with, something that the brothers can get with, some that even legal migrants who understand. You dig what I'm talking about? That it's them that's gonna be affected too. You dig what I'm talking about? The illegal migration gonna stop the legal migration. Why would they do it legally when they can get everything they want expediently if they do it illegal? Makes no sense to do it legally. You dig what I'm saying? Anybody got any questions or anything they want to add, or you dig what I'm saying? Say, Sister Cherie say, why would they want to help you? They're trying to kill you. Facts. Big facts. Why would they want to help you when they're trying to kill you? You think they're kicking black folks out of the projects by coinky dink? And replacing them with migrants? Why would they do that? They're trying to replace you. They want to kill you. Fact. You dig what I'm talking about? Yeah. We'll get it in legit. You dig what I'm talking about? Whenever you ready, bro. You dig what I'm talking about? We'll set something up and chop it up heavy. You dig what I'm talking about? But I ain't gonna keep everybody long, man. This is just something I just came to drop real quick that was on my mind. You dig what I'm saying? I might come back in about an hour or two, drop some more heat. You dig what I'm talking about? We'll get into ain't no telling what we'll get into. What y'all want to talk about? You dig what I'm saying? Facts. They're destroying America. Canada not far behind. Facts, Snoop. Facts. You dig what I'm saying? You know, anything y'all may want to talk about, just hit your boy up, man. Let me know. You dig what I'm talking about? I might come back in a little bit, hour or two, chop it up, man, see what's going on. Lawrence, let's see what Lawrence Burton say. All a ploy to eliminate us. Only the awakened can see it. Look at your people that are still stuck in the internal war they've created for our people. Correct. But they got to know it. They got to know it. You dig what I'm talking about? We will survive. You dig what I'm talking about? First of all, we about to go do our own thing. Sooner or later. Sooner or later. Good people are going to recognize we just got to get away from bad people. And guess what? The faith is already going to be gone by then. We already going to be gone. Said, I don't think the link working. It said that the live is ended. Wow, that's interesting. Let me see if I can. Let me try it again. Let me try it again. The live already ended. That's odd. You know what I mean? But it's all good, man. We about to chop it heavy, man. We'll go back in a little bit, man. I'll probably come back a little later on today and drop some more heat. You dig what I'm talking about? Hey, breathe in, man. Let that light in. I'm Cosmine, man, and I'm out. Peace.